Two-time Paralympian, made a way, overcame adversity and learned to be great. Became an amputee from a hurdle that he missed. Took him out of the race, his goals were dismissed. Olympic bound, what his heart truly chased. The doctor told him surgery would take place. Now his dreams seem too far away. Everything he worked for seemed too late. He found encouragement from his wife and above. His family, where he found true love. Perceived limitations, tried to snatch him like a glove.
What's going on, everybody?
He knew his story couldn't be replaced. And
all right. Stop that. Okay, there we go. Good morning. I hope everybody's doing fantastic today. Wow, we had some great games yesterday in basketball. The men's team, UConn's going to the dance, the finals championship game, playing. And then who was it? And you got UConn and Iowa for the women's game tonight. Fantastic. All right, here we go. Thank you all for joining in with me. I really appreciate y'all being in here. My name is John Register. I'm a two-time two-sport Paralympic athlete. I also was a combat Army veteran. And on my way to Olympic trials, when I had an accident which resulted in the amputation of my left leg as an Olympic trials candidate in the high hurdles and in the 400-meter hurdles. So welcome to this show. 7 years after that, I wound up winning a Paralympic silver medal in the long jump in Sydney, Australia. Had some interesting times, built out a military sport program, which now Department of Defense runs as Warrior Games, and Prince Harry's runs as Invictus Games. It just grew out of those programs. I didn't start those programs. They just grew out of those programs. And the reason why we're here is because of this book, 10 Power Stories to Impact Any Leader, Journal Your Way to Leadership Success. This book I wrote during the pandemic, and it was primarily for our ambassadors, United States ambassadors around the world, and to give them a story, because this was done in like February, March of 2020. What's going on during that time? Pandemic is starting to set in. And I believe that leaders needed a story to shift the conversation and get people to really understand that all of us were going through different stories in our lives as we were facing. People were isolated. Some had to isolate at home alone. Some people were losing a lot of loved ones during that time. And I mean, the gloves were starting to come off on people. We're starting to fight because, at least in America, we haven't been through something like that before. Or the world hadn't, but we hadn't been really told what to do. So this is what I wrote. I wrote the book, 10 Power Stories to Impact Any Leader. The previous chapters we've done, and I've been doing these now for at least 6 weeks, because this is the sixth time I'm doing it. We had bring atmosphere into the environment. We talked about entitlement. We talked about you need to catch up. Are you robot man? That was a fun one. And then vision eradicates fear was last week. And this one is the most important business question, the most important business question. So I wanted to focus on the most important business question for two or three reasons. The first reason is because I wanted to honor Miss Pat Henriquez, who was one of our instructors in the Veterans Entrepreneurship class that I went through at the University of Oklahoma. I'm sorry, at Oklahoma State University. It's early. And after I finished up kind of doing my idea, I won. I was awarded this. I was awarded this as the best entrepreneurship idea and focus point. I thought that was pretty cool. And what's amazing right now is I was just awarded this week, recognized as one of the top 50 global leadership speakers in the world. I was like, what? So they obviously saw something I didn't see at that time, and it's been a fantastic journey, a fantastic ride. But let's get into this conversation today, because I think it's important for us to understand this, why I wrote this. Well, it's the second reason I wrote that. I didn't get the second reason. The second reason I wrote this is because I wanted to focus on the hard work that it takes to go through tough times, because we all go through tough times. And it does take hard work. And it takes a vision to get through the other side. That's number 3, a vision to get to the other side. And how do you want to be remembered? What's the legacy? How do you want to be remembered for the time that you went through this period of life? Whatever the struggle that you went through, how do you want to be remembered on the other side of it? So the most important business question, set the story up. About 35 of my fellow veterans are going through this veterans entrepreneurship class. And little Pat Henriquez comes in. She's had contracts through the government for years, airport contracts. I mean, made massive contracts, billions of dollars worth of contracts. And she posed a question to us, and she said to the class, what do you think the most important business question is? Some of us were saying, who we're going to hire as our staff? How we're going to put our teams together? How we're going to market to our clients, our customers? How to fill our database, our pipeline? How do we do sales? And she said, yes, those are all good, but not the most important question. And then she said, the most important business question is, how are you going to wrap your business up, depose your business? And when I thought about it, I said, wow, that is a great perspective. The reason being is because when you begin thinking about your business with the end state in mind, about how you're going to wrap it up. Are you going to put it on the New York Stock Exchange, the NASDAQ? Are you going to put it, train your children up to run it for you after you move on? Are you going to sell it to another group? Are you just going to close the doors and fold the doors on it, sunset it? That question becomes a way to actually set your business up in the first place, to give you options. And I wasn't even thinking about that. I wasn't even in the ballpark of thinking about that. It's a really great thing. It's also, when I started thinking about it, even my daughter right now asked me the question, how was I going to wrap up my professional speaking business? And I'm still growing it. I want to expand it to other Paralympic athletes and to military athletes and Olympic class athletes that can tell not just a good story, but can relate the story and connect it to an audience, to a business, to a corporation, to an idea, to like when I see these young kids or these young adults going through the Olympic and Paralympic Museum, and they see some of their heroes and role models, people they've watched on television, and they see the movement that these people had and the press that they've had to go on to possibly win an Olympic medal, Paralympic medal. They get inspired. And we know that inspiration is the catalyst to motivation. Motivation in turn causes actions, and actions lead us to transformational results. So I want to be able to see the end state for these individuals so they can elevate as well, so they can move through this time period that they have, this window of time of earnings, of being an entrepreneur, to elevate their ideas or thoughts. So I think that's one of the most important reasons, and the reasons I wrote this chapter. And it's a fun chapter, kind of learning. I think it also talks to the point of getting some help because I didn't know it all, and we as leaders have blind spots. Look at what happened because of that. Because I'm starting to focus on the end state in mind and setting up the business in such a way where possibly I could sell it. Who knows? I could fold it up or have somebody else buy it. I took it out of my personal name and put into Inspired Communications International. I built another name for the company, just in case I wanted to do that. Began to have me think differently. So for leaders that are out there, I wrote some things down in the book that, because after every chapter you can do, it's called Journal Your Way to Leadership Success. I wrote down some things here that I wanted to go over with you. It's not in the book, but I thought that it's more relevant for today and what we're dealing with and what you can take into next week or whenever you watch this video. And the first is beginning with the end in mind. So what legacy do you envision for your business? Yourself, your business. What legacy do you envision? And how does it reflect your personal values and mission? As you're leading your teams, as you're leading in your companies, what is the vision you envision for your business? What legacy do you envision for your business? I think the second thing that we can think about in that same state is, how can your business operations today align more closely with the ultimate outcome that you desire? The suggestions I have around this, things I do, things I watch other people do, I glean from other folks, especially around the National Speakers Association, as I'm a professional speaker, is develop a visionary leadership approach. Cultivate leadership that consistently communicates and embodies the business's long-term goals. Look at what your long-term goals are. And then I think finally, once you have done this, you want to teach others. Just as my daughter was trying to ask about me and what I want to do with the business, because she wants to know, she's planning for her future. So she's looking already down the road. And what do I want to do with this one? I love it. Thanks for the heart. I appreciate that. So then teaching others is emphasize the importance of visionary leadership, encourage leaders to regularly share their vision and how each team member's work contributes to that vision. Why is this important? Yes, this is about you, but it's also about you leaving legacy for somebody else. Train somebody else to take your position. Train somebody else to get to the point to where they can take over what you're doing. You'll find there's so many smart people that are around you. There's so many smart people around me that I looked up the other day on my team and realized they were doing stuff that I talked about. It was actually in motion because I was seeing posts going out. So the vision was actually being executed without me having to execute the vision. And I think that's part of the growth if we want to scale. So that's that chapter. 10 Power Stories to Impact Any Leader, Journey Way to Leadership Success. We've been talking about chapter number 6. And in chapter number 6, it's what's the most important business question. The bonus to this is Pat Henriquez's question had me ask another question. What do I want at the end of my life? And it took me about 6 months, but I really did some soul searching on that one. And I wanted my God to say, well done, good and faithful servant. Enter now into the joy of my rest. That's what I want. So I want to be a person that breathes life into others, to elevate them with breath that's been given to me. And I want to breathe life into others. So the next chapter we have is coming up. I hope you've enjoyed that. If you have, write a comment. I want to read your comments in the comment section. I'm going to go back over my comments right now and just kind of look, just make sure no one has said anything in there. Nope, no one's there. So the next one we have is next chapter is give it 100% or less. That'll be next Sunday at 6 a.m. Just on for 15 minutes. The next chapter again, give it 100% or less. So if you want to pick up the book, 10 Power Stories to Impact Any Leader, and go through that before we dive into that chapter and why I wrote that chapter, you can go to johnregister.com and pick up that book on johnregister.com or book me to speak, johnregister.com. And we will be at that next chapter, give it 100% or less for next week. We're also doing these JR Leadership 90-day sprints. We're putting that packages out and running right now. So you can go on johnregister.com as well and go on to our page. I think it's a merchandise or some page that's out there. Store, it's a store page, and you can sign up for that. It's really good. We're getting some great feedback right now. We have not too many people in, but we're engaged one with each other, trying to build that community out for leaders who are trying to communicate better. So we're giving you some tips, tricks, on how to do that, as well as giving you some insights like this to help you become a better leader as a CEO, a C-suite leader, or just, you're moving into that direction of leading others and running companies. Have a fantastic day. Thank you so much for being on with me. I do appreciate you. And as we say here at Inspired Communications International, go forth, inspire your world, which means go is your command, forth is your direction, inspire, that's your vocation, your, because only you can do this work, and world, you can only do this work inside of your sphere of influence. Go forth, inspire your world, everybody. We'll see you back here next Sunday at 6 a.m. Mountain Time, 8 a.m. Eastern Time, and have a fantastic week. I'll be out and about. I'm in Portland tomorrow on Monday for KATU Afternoon Live. It's Amputee Limb Loss and Limb Difference Awareness Month. We'll be back on television talking about that tomorrow. We'll see you later. Bye for now.